Hey everybody, Magnify Season 3 is still a few weeks away, but in the meantime, what you're about to listen to is what happens when four pastors walk into a studio and press the record button. We hope you enjoy what you're about to hear. Thanks for streaming. Well, it's 2023. We are in it.
Indeed.
Jared, do you have thoughts?
No, that's the issue, Aaron. We're in it, and I have no thoughts. I want only to return to the slumber of Christmas week.
Oh, how was Christmas?
Amazing.
Relaxing and productive.
Productive.
Yeah.
I would not tack productive onto mine. What did you do?
It was relaxing in that it was like raining all week,
Mm-hmm.
so we were just kind of stuck indoors, but productive. I did some songwriting. This was really neat.
I did too, but that was different. That's a different thing.
Come on, Ryan, you're being modest. How many hymns did you write?
Not all hymns, but
Oh, okay.
yeah, I brought 9 songs to a songwriting retreat. It's really cool.
That you wrote during that week?
Yeah.
My word, Ryan.
And they're all songs based off of the book Knowing God by J.I. Packer, which turns like 50 years old this year. And last year, I was at this kind of the same retreat, and it was a real challenge to write songs based on a book that's not the Bible. But I just lived with Knowing God this whole year, and it is a fantastic book.
Mm-hmm.
So how'd you do it? You just take a chapter at a time?
And that was the challenge last year, because the challenge was write songs based on the book. And so people go like, okay, do you take phrases from each chapter? Do you take kind of the headings? Do you try to encapsulate an entire chapter in a song, which is really impossible? But Bob Coughlin expanded it to the point of going like, take the theme of a chapter, whether it's adoption or the adequacy of God or what does it mean to love God, and just let that be the inspiration for a whole song. So which made the sandbox a little bit bigger to play in. But it was good.
Seriously, I would have come in there, I'm like, here's my first song. Chapter 1, chapter 1. We all like chapter 1. That's why I don't get invited to these retreats. Knowing God, do you know him? I know him, knowing God. He's 50, no he's not. Just the book, just the book.
J.I. Packer.
J.I. Packer.
Read the chapter.
Read the chapter. J.I. Packer. That little bass thing.
Sounds like we got 10 songs.
As I've written more and more, I've learned more about myself as a writer, and I don't do well like on the spot with like a group of people. So if they go like, all right, we're in a room together, let's write a song about God's immutability.
You don't do like gospel, whose line is it anyway?
My word. Are you serious? That happens?
That's
we
hazing,
all
though, right?
know, though.
That's hazing
Like,
for new writers?
Even authors, people who think fast on their feet, they thrive in the moment.
Wow.
Where I'm like, I need to bring like an outline of a song, or I need to bring just a chorus, and then out of that, kind of the strength of that chorus, write a song around it.
Have you ever in the dead of night received like an idea incepted into your thoughts and you're like, ah!
Well,
I
thank
got
goodness
it!
we have voice memos, because like
Yeah.
I'll like dream a melody and I'll sing it in my phone at like 2 a.m. in the morning. And then
Do you have these recordings still?
I'm sure.
We should play one right now. What do you mean by
J.I.
received,
Packer.
Aaron?
Well, I'm a charismatic, so I just...
But I mean, it's great because I get up in the morning and I'll listen back. I'm like, oh, that's garbage. Complete and utter garbage.
There's a whole Seinfeld episode about that.
Oh, really?
He writes a joke at night and wakes up and goes,
I mean, in your mind, it's like, this is the most brilliant melody.
3:30 in the morning brain
Yeah,
says
right?
it's awesome.
That's right.
James Cameron was saying that that's how he wrote some of his screenplays.
Really?
Yeah, they were dreams. And then he wrote it down and expanded on it. He was saying that the majority of his writing has actually been out of his dreams and kind of relies upon that as an intuitive way to create.
Would you say then we're responsible for our dreams, but we're not complicit?
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
Right? Because
Yeah.
we've received information.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it was interesting. It's like what David was talking about in chapel today. It's like we live out of what is going into our hearts and minds.
Yeah.
And so our dreamscape is not creating information. It's rather processing things that are already, that we've either seen or thought or exposed to. It was interesting. There was one theologian one time, he made this statement. He goes, I've been so involved and immersed in the scriptures that he would dream biblical dreams. And I thought to myself,
That's either terrifying or awesome.
Imagine that you've been so immersed in the scriptures that you're actually dreaming. And that's what happens sometimes too, right? When you're in different stages of life, you're just working and you're running, and then you go to sleep and you actually dream about those things, and then you wake up tired.
I dreamed I was a son of Korah. It was horrible.
No, hold on. I've dreamt that chords, like musical chords, were characters.
Oh, yeah?
Based on what they sounded like.
Cool.
Yeah.
I've dreamed in shapes before.
I was
but
gonna say, it
we
sounds
won't-
like dreaming in
we
shapes.
won't- We won't get into that.
No, you have, haven't you?
I have. It's very strange. I don't know what's going on. I think I was hit by a brick when I was a kid. Well, speaking about dreams, what are our hopes and dreams for 2023? Now that we are full throttled into the year.
Survive the spring.
Dude.
It's a packed spring. I mean, did you look at the planning calendar?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
I mean, they're all good things. I'm especially, we can say it here, right?
I think so.
I'm especially excited about the Gettys.
Mm-hmm.
Coming to
the
Grace.
Gettys.
Yep. It's been a dream of mine for a while.
What's the date?
April 1st. So we're going to do a one-day sing conference. So it'll be Sing West. And then that evening, they're going to do a concert.
It's pretty sweet, man.
But they're a good group of people. We do a lot of their songs, and they're committed to congregational singing and writing songs that do that well. So that's where we're at as a church, and I think they're going to be really a blessing.
Jared, will we be able to call you Dr. Burkholder in the year 2023?
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking about. It's like in the hallways and like on text and whatever. It's just like, hey, I'm thinking about this. Have you read this? It has been such a phenomenal blessing to the hallways and my own heart of having you walk through this program. I mean,
It'll come to an abrupt end in December. I'll have no new
That's
thoughts,
true.
but
I love seeing ABF. My favorite was there's an ABF leader. He came up to me and goes, hey, he saw one of the books that I knew that was coming. He's like, yeah, we're reading this in our ABF. I go, oh, that's so cool. I love it.
And Dr. Burkholder just flows off the tongue.
Dr. B.
no. So Lord willing, I'll write a lot of my project this summer, do a lot of the editing process in the fall, and then I have to submit in February of 24
Okay.
and defend spring of 24.
So
So this is just a slog year. And I'm
Okay.
past like all the coursework, so now it's just me in a room with my laptop,
Mm.
kind of sad by myself, right?
What's an idea that you're thinking of that going into this new year that's captivated your attention recently?
Yeah, I'm writing right now on how the New Testament concept of witness includes both word and deed. So Leslie Newbegin wrote about that extensively. Just read a book by Michael Goheen where he kind of summarized Newbegin's ecclesiology. But essentially arguing that when you look at the word group in the New Testament, and then especially the ways in which that was enacted in the book of Acts, there was always this wedding of conspicuous acts of service and love towards the lost paired with gospel proclamation, such that the testimony of the Christian witness in and among the early church or the areas in which they lived was so powerful. There's actually some letters from the Emperor Julian talking about how much he hated Christians because they were doing such a good job caring for the widow, the orphan, the poor, that so many people were being attracted to them, what he called atheism, which is really Christianity. So there was this idea that the early church had such a powerful witness that when they had the chance to speak gospel truth, people actually were attracted to their communities because of the love that they showed. So I'm going to try to wed those two ideas etymologically and other things, and that'll be part of one of my chapters.
That'll preach, bro.
Because the
great.
trend is to overemphasize one or the other.
Well, in Goheen's book, he talks about that at the fundamentalist liberal divide, liberals were the ones who walked away with deeds of love. Fundamentalists were the ones who walked away with truth. And there really was this bifurcation in reaction to one another. And he says, if you look at the New Testament witness, all those were always inextricably linked. And so it's only been in the recent, in the last century that we've allowed those to be bifurcated, which has really harmed Christian witness, I think.
Yeah.
And so that now when you ask an average person on the street, what do you think of evangelicals? It's probably not positive. And that wasn't true in the early church. Christians had such a powerful witness that when gospel proclamation happened, there was already this knowledge and this desire to have a greater understanding of the God of the Bible. So
Because they always saw them together.
the witness of
witness saw
Christians
them
in their communities was so powerful that people wanted
saw
to know
them,
more
yeah.
about God. So I'm writing about that.
That's the good stuff.
Dude.
And when I say I'm writing
That's
about
the
that, I mean
good
I got up at
stuff.
5 today and I did a little bit of research. I got to do a lot of bit of research.
Words. You read some words.
Do you remember those days, right? Little kids at home, graduate work, doing full-time ministry, getting up, staying up late, just finding that like hour here,
I would
hour
stay
there
up late.
when the kids are
I'm in
all
bed
buttoned
by,
up.
I'm in bed by 9, but I'll get up early.
No, right? Because the kids are sleeping. You're able to have a quiet moment.
Yeah.
And
The
they
worst
just
is when I
crank-
get up and I'm all primed, and then somebody gets up at 5:15, and it's
Yeah.
like you cannot do that. That's not fair. This is not your time.
Man.
I slept like 4 hours a night for about 3 years.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It was.
That's
The-
it, man.
it-
Everybody's got to put in their time.
The
Always
dark
got- It
ages.
weeds out the weak. Weeds out the weak.
Well, I mean, I didn't go for a doctorate. I just went for a master's degree. But
Aaron,
That's-
like
I
we've
look
talked
at
about
what-
before. You don't need a doctor because you're Aaron Miller.
I look at what you're going through. I'm like, nah, I'm good.
Don't you have an honorary doctorate from Grace U?
Oh yes,
I thought he
So that you
did.
can wear that
Jared,
big
didn't-
chain?
Did we give him that?
the big old chain,
That's right.
the chancellor chain.
I'll just let people call
I'm
me
going to work on that right now.
Dr.
I'm
Miller
going to work
and
that
not
right
correct
now.
them.
You get to color it by number, though.
If we ever do a commencement for Grace U that has
Oh,
academic regalia,
It's like,
I'm leaving.
oh, man.
That's
I'm all
actually,
about
Jared,
that.
that's going to be my response. Hey, are you going to get a doctorate? No. I'm Aaron Miller.
Yes,
I don't need
that.
a doctorate. Yeah.
Doctorates get Aaron Miller. That's what happens.
I still remember that was my all-time favorite. I go, Aaron, did you get COVID? He goes, no, COVID gets Aaron Miller. And sits down. I was like, oh, man. That's the best.
No one's traveling this year? Going
Well,
anywhere
how
special?
about you, Aaron? What are some things you're looking for? Hey, buddy, tell us.
Aaron,
Tell us about
Aaron,
your dreams,
listen,
your
don't
hopes,
always,
your
Don't always
ambitions.
make it
Wait a
this.
minute, whoa.
Don't make it one way.
My
Aaron.
job is to
Don't make
pitch.
it one way. No.
Yes.
But
No,
Aaron,
let's
we want
be
to see you. We
accessible.
want to know you.
I want
You
to
need to use
know-
smaller words then and be very specific. Speak slowly, please.
I think we
so I
like to
understand.
cultivate an environment here where we are both knowing and being known, Aaron.
So what's the question?
What do you think about
You.
2020?
2023?
Three. You told me once that over the break that you actually make predictions and you forecast. And I thought that idea was
And then you
so
place
foreign
bets
to,
based on what's going to happen, right?
It's like the Bengals
but-
are going to win the Super Bowl.
But they're never anything that's. I think the way that I described it when we talked about it was that I view myself in a playwright or in a narrative, and every year I ask myself, well, what is my role this year?
Mm-hmm.
So I am in a world on a particular timeline in the year, in this case, 2023, and there is a world around me that God has placed me in.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm asking, what are the other characters that I'm doing this with? Life, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which involves family.
Mm-hmm.
It involves friends, pastor brothers, right? Like the people in this room. It involves neighbors. It involves people that I rub shoulders with, and relationships that I have yet to encounter, right? So I ask those sorts of questions with a strong cup of coffee, a journal, a Bible, and I do need to surround myself with beauty if I'm going to do it. It's helpful to
man,
be
right?
in a place that.
Is that why you came over the other day?
Stop it. Do you what is that surrounding of beauty for you?
It could be music. It could be like we went to England last summer with the family. We did a church history tour, and so coming off of that trip, I had a lot of thoughts and a lot of introspective goals that Joe I sent to you.
Yeah.
That trip in particular did that for me.
Nomenclature matters. So, like, what would be some words that give shape to what you think this next year looks like?
Nomenclature drives narrative, and narrative drives
I love
culture.
that. Look at that. What you did was you spoke like Aaron language, and he bit. I loved it.
Oh, yeah.
See, I say, hey, tell me about yourself, and then you put it that way. What do you got?
Nomenclature?
Mm.
Oh boy, I don't know if we have the time for me to sit and think that one through.
It's your podcast. Of course we do.
No, it's not my. It is our pastoral podcast that I've been given the job to pitch good questions. You know, I think intentionality. I think.
Yes.
I mean, I think contentment, continued trust, and vulnerability.
Yep.
You know,
Yeah.
I need to be more approachable. That one, approachability. I guess that's vulnerability.
Yeah.
But the Lord has used godly men in my life recently to confront that in me. Like, hey, you're a pastor. You should be more approachable. And I need my face to, or need my heart and my brain to remind my face of that many times.
And as you're thinking about this year and those different circles and how does that express, and you dream and think a little bit about that. I get it.
Yeah.
Ryan, what is it that you surround yourself with that is your space for creativity? Do you surround yourself with beauty too, or do you need to be in a locked room with like earplugs in? And
You know, it's interesting. Non-musical things inspire me. So like watching a good movie. So like a movie just well put together, great cinematography, great script, great acting, inspires me to want to write great music.
Mhm.
Isn't that weird?
No,
weird.
not at all.
I think it's all integrated. It makes sense.
But the fact that it's completely different is actually helpful
Yeah.
for me.
Ah,
You know what I mean?
I'm with you there. Yeah.
You know, over the break, just a lot of time to watch TV shows and movies that everyone kept talking about. Finally got
Talking
to
about the
see.
Left Behind movie.
Jared, what do you surround yourself with that's like your best space?
I really like going to the beach. Yeah. There's something about the crashing of the waves that kind of drowns out everything else. But for me, it's usually runs. Runs are kind of where I space out
Yeah.
and think.
But also people. You connect really well with people of all varieties. Like, just, it's impressive.
I am energized by people.
Yes.
Yes. Oh, for sure. I've really enjoyed that, watching you lean in and then get energized around people who are actually different than you, but think well. I've always been the beneficiary of that, for sure.
Joe, how do you sleep at night?
How do I
Sleep
sleep
at night.
Your mind is always on, and it's going, and it's creating. I'm serious. I mean it to be a compliment. I'm not trying to.
No, thank you.
Do you have a hard time winding down?
Yeah, sometimes.
Well, see, I imagine that you like put your head on the pillow and turn the switch off and it goes.
That's right.
Like a
I
robot?
power down. Remember that one, what was it, Babylon Bee, where they said that Al Mohler's not going to be around because he's getting a software upgrade? That was great.
It's funny because it's true.
I know. Because you don't have intuitive self-awareness. You're able to have self-awareness when you invite people to help you see yourself accurately. It's not like I could be in a box and go, oh, I'm going to think about myself accurately.
When
right?
you say invite people, you really enter into a discussion about angles and...
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Well, there's two things. One, there's the self-awareness side. So I have learned I do have a wonderful appetite for really anything. I just have this really deep enjoyment. It's not like a bull in a china shop type thing. It's more like a golden retriever trying to find a lost tennis ball. So I have a very high appetite for that, I've realized. And not a lot of other people do. So I've learned to like take cues where I'm talking to somebody. I'm like, you could care less about what I'm talking about right now. Because I want to share it. That's the thing, is that I find something, then I want to share it with somebody. And then I look at them, there's like,
So when they're like glossy-eyed and rapidly blinking at you, that's a sign?
So then what happens is that I just think. I think and reflect and explore, and nobody can get bored because it's just me. When you I've found that in terms of self-awareness, that people always start with moving towards somebody by teasing them.
Yeah.
I think I'm at a place where I'm at a place where if people stop teasing me, then something's wrong. If you welcome that and you kind of celebrate that in an appropriate way, of course, right? That then that same person is more apt to be also give other feedback too over time, because they know that you're willing to accept it. So,
I remember my wife once described for some family members of ours, when you first came on, we were describing our new executive pastor, and Ingrid goes, and this is so perfect because it was loving. She goes, Joe Keller's the type of person that if you ask him the time, he's going to end up sharing with you how the watch was made.
That's brilliant.
that totally happened in the staff meeting today. Remember when Aaron asked this question and I went off for like 5 minutes or something, and then Aaron goes, "Yeah, that actually wasn't what I was asking."
No, it's helpful.
So thank you. So thank
helpful.
you. Yeah,
It
that's
was
the context.
helpful.
This story. Anyway, all that being said, I have learned to pay close attention to my body, because my body always tells me that I'm fatigued before my mind does.
Yeah.
It's really fascinating. Like I've learned to take cues from that, because if I don't take cues from that, I've learned that I can't reset as well. And I've realized that spiritual fatigue and compassion fatigue, intellectual fatigue is like a real thing. And I realize right now that I just over talked a very simple question on how you rest and really just proved the point. So I'm just going to listen to Ryan now. Ryan can talk.
Ryan, how long have you known Joe Keller?
Ever since I was a student, master's.
How old were you? 19?
It's fun.
No, were you 19 when you met
Oh,
him?
then?
Yeah. He didn't say how
How old are you now? 19? I'm like,
Gosh.
No, you're old
Dude,
now.
oh,
Yeah,
did you
obviously.
hear Ryan? Ryan has said that to me like 3 times.
Fun.
That's fun. Like when he says that, that's like Ryan with really sharp teeth.
Well, he's not 19. He will in the year 2023.
Oh,
turn
yeah.
40.
Are you really?
Sporty 40.
No joke.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Down the
July
other side of the
25th.
hill.
What are we going to do,
That's
bud?
nice.
Something fun. Tattoos?
Truck
I
buddies.
was going to get one.
Are
Probably
you
this
being
year.
serious? Well, hold on a second.
Yeah.
Are you guys being serious?
Are you,
You know the Lord allows.
do you have
You're
an
right.
Old Testament
Hold on,
passage you'd
hold
like to
on.
throw into that,
Whoa,
Joe?
hold on.
Joe's like
Are
writing
you being-
policy right now in his
Just
head. No,
hang on,
can't
just
do
hang
it.
on.
Can't be visible.
Hang on. Sorry. I'm white knuckling the chair. I need to relax.
Can we get a bottled
Are
water
you
for
being-
Joe?
Wait,
He's hyped.
hold on. Do you have one now? You have a tattoo?
Jared actually has a python that wraps
Do
on
you
his
really?
body.
Do you have like like unto all the nations in Gothic letters on your back?
It's not quite that spiritual.
I haven't seen because we haven't swam together, so I don't know. I don't
haven't
know.
swam
I don't know
together.
what your upper flesh looks like. We haven't.
Yikes.
Have you thought about that? We haven't swum. We haven't swam together.
I have not yet considered the fact that I've not seen your bare torso. It's
Yeah,
not
sure.
occurred to me until
No,
this very moment.
But I'm just saying.
Rectify this inequity right now.
Why don't we just stop? Here, hold on a second.
Show and tell moment on the
commercial
podcast.
break. Commercial break. Okay, so tell me. So do you have one?
No.
Okay. See, you were just messing with me.
But I'm going to. Jen and I have been talking about it for years. We know what we want to get. This is probably going to be the year.
My mother got a tattoo 2 years ago.
Did she?
And now I kind of feel like, oh, if my mom has a tattoo.
Yeah, no, I've
Did it
wanted
say like Aaron?
I did look up the other day the least painful spot to get it. So now I know because I'm a total Nancy. I can't.
I want to be clear. Praise the Lord Jesus. I am not making any sort of ethical thing about tattoos. They're just, for me personally, 1, I'm just chicken. And 2, I know that if I were to get one, it would be the thing that goes out of style in 10 years. Like I just know me.
You're not worried about sagging? I think that'd be the bigger issue.
Yeah, or I would get like an accordion or something that would just move over time.
But it makes
So
sounds
that
when it
would
moves.
just, yeah, it just, yeah. But all that being said, and I think it is a personal thing, but for me, that's not my thing. That's not my thing. Although if it is somebody else's
Are
thing.
you going to update our handbook by
Praise
the end
the
of this
Lord.
conversation?
Jared, no, I'm not saying that. Don't make me sound like that person. But I am interested. Okay, so you and Janelle are going to get buddy tattoos. You've been talking about it for a while.
Decade more.
No kidding.
Yeah. We just
How
never
long
done
have you
it.
been married?
It'll be 15 years in March.
Okay, so you guys have been talking about buddy tats for a
Yeah.
while. Is that how they say it?
That is exactly how they say it.
Oh, well.
But in prison, no less. Hey, you want to get a buddy tat, bro? You want to get a BT?
So
you want to get on the BT train?
So I was like,
BTT?
so you wanted to. Okay, so you've already decided, and this is the year?
I just feel like it should be. Like, there's a lot going on this year. We're gonna
Get your
hopefully we're gonna adopt our 3rd kid.
I
I'm gonna
know.
do school.
So
I can't do other fun things. So I might as well do this.
that is fantastic. So I'm not going to ask you what it is because I feel like that's something, especially wherever that soft spot where you're going to be able to get it. I feel like
I'll
that's
tell you,
between you and
it's-
Janelle.
Jesus is better. It's just a line that has like meant a ton to our family. It goes back to like one of the first books I taught in youth group. So we talked for a long time. We just want to get that. It's like a good reminder. It can be a little bit of a witness. I don't think tattoos are meant to be necessarily a witness, but yeah, I think we'll do that.
And where can I ask where it?
I need to go back to the diagram of where it hurts less. I think like here-ish.
Oh, okay. Yeah, on the inside of your forearm.
Yeah.
For the listeners.
Yes.
No, but if we were to do it, we would have to that it would all be separate to where if we all unite that it would that it would say something. So yeah, so I'm just saying like either like when we do it and then we all put our knuckles together and it like makes something
Truck
or
buddies.
whatever that is.
Truck buddies.
I'm just saying that would be my only input is that if it would somehow have to be independently recognizable when you put it together, it makes something.
What is your mom's tattoo?
My mother has something written in Hebrew on her arm. I don't know what it is.
Giddy up.
What? You took Hebrew? Can't we parse it? Take a picture of it. Have her text your mom and have her take a picture of it and we'll parse it.
All right. I'll
Good night.
Here, let me go get a lexicon.
No, but I'm just saying that's
But it's
like,
something in Hebrew.
Okay.
I'm texting mom now, actually. Dear mom,
Aaron in
on
Hebrew.
a live podcast, please send me a picture of your tattoo.
Mom, you know what? I never thought that I would ever text my mom. Mom, could you text me a picture of your tattoo? So I'm just saying that it's important that when you get tatted,
Inked. Tatted.
inked,
Inked?
Yep.
that you have to be mindful of where it is who the other people that you're around, like with Aaron's different relationship circles. You just have to be mindful about all that stuff. That's why I try to tell young people when we talk about tattoos, I'm like, look, you just got to be thoughtful about when, where, and because, you know, it's a thing.
If you look at Section 2, subsection 9 of the policy manual here, you'll find a new section regulating.
No way, dude.
All tattoos have
way.
to be approved in writing.
No
90
way,
days in
Jared.
advance.
No way. The Lord has given all of us to each other, and so I doubt that would.
I doubt
that would happen.
I doubt that would happen today, like at 4:55.
I'm trying to think, like, what would it take to convince Joe, which we would have to filter through Heidi first,
dude,
to get a tattoo?
No. It's not going to happen. It's not my thing. It's not my thing.
So hence my question, what would we have to do?
No, but there isn't. I'm just saying, it's just not my thing.
I think you're underestimating the power of peer pressure.
Joe,
That's true. Yeah. That's true. That's very true.
Let's get a Truck Buddies tattoo to show solidarity of friendship.
Oh my goodness gracious.
What would I get? Something in Latin or something, you know, post tenebris lux or...
Oh, serious?
Like a tribal?
Shapes. I would get the primary shapes. Square, circle, triangle. And,
would you really?
I would. My whole shapes thing, that's what it is.
Someday.
Sentencia, something
Someday,
like that?
I think you should explain that on the podcast.
Yeah, not this day, but yes.
You've flown by it a couple of times with me, and I've just accepted it as a reality.
What are we talking? The
shapes.
Yeah,
shapes.
Yeah, right.
So see, and you just kind of blew by. You're like, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I see shapes.
Aaron, hold on, Aaron. Are the shapes in the room with us right now?
They're all, I don't see shapes. I just apply my human experiences to a shape for some reason. And so if I, maybe not right in this moment, but as I reflect later tonight about this day in this room recording a podcast, for some reason my mind applies either a triangle, a square, or a circle. And that is true for a meal that I remember eating. The taste of pizza. It's so random.
And it's when you debrief it, not in the moment.
It's not necessarily in the moment. I actually have sermon notes where I'll have shapes in there as visual cues. And there's no real rhyme or reason to it that I can identify.
Square, circle,
triangle, yeah.
And there's no identifier in terms of a mood or a sense that a triangle could be applied to 4 different kinds of experiences.
Correct. I mean, I'm sure there is a system. I'm saying I don't have an awareness enough of it.
And actually, we looked it up. It's a thing.
Sentencia,
yeah.
But it doesn't. It's a reference point. But it doesn't. The shape in and of itself does not have inherent value.
I don't think so. I have had good experiences and bad experiences that I have
both in the same shape.
Yes, yeah, and I have no idea where that comes from. Makes no sense. And maybe there's someone listening to this going like, yeah, you got a problem.
Is it? No, hold on a second. Is it, does it bring a level of comfort? Conclusion?
Yeah. I don't know. Comfort, maybe that's too strong of a word, but it helps. It helps me see myself in the space.
Yes.
So I don't know if you read extensively. Maybe you can help me out.
You're not building things, but it's a reference point. Right. As you reflect back.
I place it, I move on. Yeah.
But my question is, do you place it or does it come to you?
Oh, I don't know the difference there. I mean, it's there.
But I mean, when you think back, that a particular shape comes to mind.
Yeah, it just comes to me. That's right.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to make a square or circle. It is what it is.
Are people shapes?
Relationships are shapes. Yes, I don't. No. Now I'm gonna have people come up. Hey, what shape am I?
No, you want to know what? That's a thing. That is totally a thing.
Oh yeah, we're not going there.
That's totally a thing. Yeah, that's totally a thing.
But seriously, later I'd like to know what shape. It matters.
I hope that at one point I was a circle, and then another time I will be a triangle.
Okay, here's how I went, because we got to land the plane here. We've said this a few times. I threw out the term truck buddies. Joe, you're going to sit there in silence, and you're just going to take it like a man. You're just going to take it.
Why can't this podcast be about something else?
Ryan, Jared.
Do you know Aaron season shapes? Let's talk about that.
Ryan and Jared. I need you guys to help bring a definition to what we mean by truck buddies, and I need you to share with the people what happened that most terrifying day.
While we're talking about potential idiosyncrasies, I think it's a great time to talk about what happened on the Truck Buddy Day.
I agree.
I'm going to embrace this.
The year was 2020. Peak pandemic, the world was in a state of disarray. But what wasn't disarray is Joe's truck. We recognized the need for some office furniture, and we all jumped in together. Joe didn't want to go to IKEA by himself. It's a scary place. So he grabbed a few of us to go with him.
No. He had just gotten to know you guys.
No.
Correct.
He got to know us.
Right.
He got to know us that day.
Ryan, Joe knew Ryan.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. You guys are old buddies.
It was an invitation to hang out. It was an excuse to be together.
Probably for some unhurried time, you'd say, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was very intentional.
So we're at IKEA. We do the furniture shopping.
Some of us eat some of the best Swedish meatballs.
Jared and I get in line, get some Swedish meatballs.
Still angry at you two. We were starving.
Everybody was hungry, and then all of a sudden, Jared's gone.
Well, I'm an adult, and I have money, so I bought food.
He didn't tell anybody,
pretty
and then
easy.
he's eating Swedish meatballs.
You guys can do that too. I don't know if you do
We're
that.
just like popping them like Skittles in the aisle.
Like rats in a corner.
Part of the agenda is to hang out
lunch
and
was
enjoy
still
that.
great. Yeah. So anyway, we get back in the car, do lunch. We're driving back to Santa Clarita.
Let's mention lunch. It's fantastic.
Ryan, lunch. I'll never not mention lunch. Go ahead.
Doghouse.
That was good.
Remember those sliders?
Yeah. I was there last weekend with my son. Thanks to you, Joe.
Great spot.
Yep. Joe introduced me to that. So anyway, continue.
Go for it.
Ryan, then we got back in the car. And that's
In
when
the truck.
That's when things took a turn. We navigate onto the 5. We're driving. All of a sudden, Ryan.
Joe, out of the corner of his eye, spots a truck of similar color and same make and model.
It was the exact same truck.
Lays on the horn. Now, I don't know if you know this.
Well, speeds up first.
Speeds up next to him.
Yeah.
So that they're commensurate. Yeah, right next to each other. Lays on the horn.
I didn't lay on the horn. I gave a hello.
It was more than a toot.
It was
more than a toot. There's
That's
a
what it
toot,
was.
and then there was what you did, which is toot plus.
Yes, it was a toot plus. It was a toot plus.
And yells to the close window, truck buddies. Yeah, truck buddies. Hey, we're truck buddies.
Waving frantically.
No.
At this poor soul.
I'm in the passenger seat, and I'm just thinking to myself, just look big, Aaron. Just look big. I don't know what these guys have. I don't know what this is, how this is going to go down.
I think David Fogelsong blacked out. He literally
What did he
blacked
say?
out.
He said,
my
anxiety is through the roof.
I have never been more anxious in my whole entire life.
Turns out, for some people, namely Joe Keller, they think that there's this category of thing that if you have the same car, then you're part of a club. A recognized club where when you bought the car, you're like, oh my God.
That is true. That is true for Harley Davidsons and Wrangler Jeeps.
But under this idea, I would be like,
Chevy
oh my word,
Silverados.
I have this white 2008 Corolla now. I wonder what kind of amazing community I'm part of now.
You guys were
Corolla
so
community.
You were so. I mean, literally, I pulled up and there's the truck, and I went, no, hey, and I waved at him like, hey, we got the same trucks. We're truck buddies.
So we all started asking him like,
and it was like, and they're like, what
did you just say?
Are you doing?
Did you just say truck buddies?
I go, yeah, we're like truck buddies, and it was like, you guys
we could not convince Joe that wasn't a thing until that very night he went home and his kids were like, Dad, that's not a thing.
Well, I just live in a world where people get shot for stuff like that, right?
I don't,
like that's an easy like.
That was the thing. So everybody's in the car just going, "What in the world are you doing?" And I'm having a fun time and saying hello to this guy.
I tell you what it tells me about you, Joe.
So great.
That all things, even the little mundane things like, hey, we have the same vehicle. Joe sees all things through relationship.
There we are.
There we are.
The big square relationship, right?
That's what I'm saying. As long as I'm a triangle and a square, I'm fine. If I'm a circle, then I need to, stop laying off the carbs.
Nachos.
Guys, it's been fun.
It always is. Thanks for inviting us.
I love you guys.
Love you too, friend.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.